Hi, Gil. Here we are again, and we're now on day 6 of creation, which is clearly the day when God created more things than on any other day. And so it's quite a long one, but I think I will read it, and then if you could sing it, that would be a good way to start, and then
No
you can
problem.
take it from there.
No problem.
Okay. So this is from verse 24 from Genesis. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature according to its kind, cattle and creeping thing and beasts of the earth, each according to its kind." And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth according to its kind, cattle according to its kind, and everything that creeps on the earth according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." And God said, "See, I have given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed, to you it shall be for food. Also to every beast of the earth, to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth, in which there is life, I have given every green herb for food." And it was so. Then God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. So the evening and the morning were the sixth day.
Wow. ויאמר אלוהים תוצא הארץ נפש חיה למינה בהמה ורמס וחייתו ארץ למינה ויהי כן ויעש אלוהים את חיית הארץ למינה ואת הבהמה למינה ואת כל רמס האדמה למינהו וירא אלוהים כי טוב ויאמר אלוהים נעשה אדם בצלמנו כדמותנו וירדו בדגת הים ובעוף השמיים ובבהמה ובכל הארץ ובכל הרמס הרומס על הארץ ויברא אלוהים את האדם בצלמו בצלם אלוהים ברא אותו זכר ונקבה ברא אותם, ויברך אותם אלוהים, ויאמר להם אלוהים, פרו ורבו, ומילאו את הארץ וכבשוה, ורדו בדגת הים ובעוף השמיים, ובכל חיה הרומסת על הארץ. ויאמר אלוהים, הנה נתתי לכם את כל עשב זורע זרע, אשר על פני כל הארץ, ואת כל העץ, אשר בו פרי עץ זורע זרע, לכם יהיה לאוכלה, ולכל חיית הארץ, ולכל עוף השמיים, ולכל רומס על הארץ, אשר בו נפש חיה, את כל ירק עשב לאוכלה, ויהי כן. וירא אלוהים את כל אשר עשה, והנה טוב מאוד, ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום השישי. What a text.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you saw things or you heard things in the English translation, which you might want to clarify if there's something that really stood out for you that was a
Well,
little
I
different.
think I think that throughout the years, I think the question, the most outstanding question that comes, when we think about this paragraph in creation,
Mhm.
I think that's when God speaks and He said, "Let us create men." in our image, in
Mm-hmm.
our likeness. And the question is, that's in verse 26. And basically there is a question, who is God speaking to? And of course there are, I mean we cannot know for sure, right? I mean we can't really know for sure. There are all sorts of assumptions and theories. But the one thing before I'll share the Hebraic view about this, but we need to pay attention to the difference between verse 26 and verse 27. In verse 26, it is all being said in the plural form, right? Let us create man in our image, in our likeness.
Mm-hmm.
And in verse 27, it goes to be in a singular form. God created man in his image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female, he created them. Okay? But the thing is that the difference between the two verses is that in verse 26, it looks like the so-called the original plan was to create man in our image, in our likeness. Of course, taking into account the other entity that God was speaking to.
Mm-hmm.
But however we choose to look at it in verse 27, it looks like something happened between verse 26 and verse 27, because in verse 27 it's in the end his image, in the image of God, not in their image or anything like that. It's not in the plural form like in verse 26, it's in the singular form. And when the Hebraic view about this is that God was speaking to the heavenly beings, the same heavenly beings we get to read about in Ezekiel chapter 1, but he was speaking to the angels, the heavenly beings, and he said, "Let us create man in our image, in our likeness. Let's take the common denominator that we have. God is not one of the heavenly beings, as we know. I mean, God is God. He's above everything. I mean, the heavenly beings are subdued to his will. And of course, I mean, there is no one beside him. We can all agree on that. But God spoke to the heavenly beings saying, let's take the common denominator between us, okay, being heavenly or something like that, maybe without form, or we're not quite sure. It's all quite it's encrypted, and create another being, another entity that shares the same common denominator like we do. And the Hebraic assumption is that the heavenly beings refused and said, "No, there is already enough of us. Okay, we don't need another creature that looks like us and behaves like us." And that's when God said, "Fine, if you don't want it to be in our common denominator, in our likeness, in our image, I will create him higher than you are, and I'll create him only in my image, in the image of God
Mm-hmm.
alone." So, like with no common ground with the heavenly beings, we all serve the same heavenly Father, but we're not created in the same way. And the truth is that Judaism sees mankind more superior and than the heavenly beings.
Right.
The heavenly beings are described in Ezekiel. They're described as being without the ability to choose. How do we see that? We
The
see that because,
legs.
yeah, exactly. I mean, they have a straight leg. They have
Mm-hmm.
one straight leg. That's it. There are no knees or ankles, and they can't really get to choose, right? They have God gives them their some kind of movement in a certain direction, and they would move in that direction without the ability to choose. But we were created with the ability to choose. And when we all have this spark, which is taken from the huge eternal flame that He is, and this spark lives inside of us. And whenever we choose the right way, whenever we choose to subdue ourselves, to surrender, to make a sacrifice, to walk in the path that He has given us, whenever we do that, that spark grows and it becomes a bigger flame and a bigger flame until it gets to the point where we can actually reconnect with where it came from. But I think that this, I mean, this little thing here that opens up a whole discussion about the existence of mankind next to the existence of the heavenly beings, and having even a comparison between us, because we are so used to thinking, I'd like to be an angel, like be an angel, there is a feeling that they're more superior than us. But in actual fact, they're not. You see, when there's an interesting proverb telling about Moses when Moses went to heaven to bring down Torah, right? I mean, there was the event of Mount Sinai, and then Moses was invited to into the fog and to be with God for 40 days and 40 nights. And then in the end, like to bring it down. And when there was a parable telling about Moses at the end of the 40 days and 40 nights, how he went and he went to take, Torah and bring it down, right? The tablets and all, and to take it down to the people. And the heavenly beings refused to let him touch it, and they didn't want him to take it from heaven. Okay, and they said, no, 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 no. This has been here. This is as eternal as God is. I mean, this has been here forever. You can't take it down. You can't take it down with you to them. And Moses and they didn't want to let him. It's a parable, of course, but they didn't want to let him. They didn't want to let him take it. And Moses was looking at God, kind of like indicating to him, help me out here. I mean, what can I do? And God said, well, it's as simple as that. Just challenge them. And Moses said to them, well, Torah says, respect your mother and father. Do you have mothers and fathers to respect? Is it any relevant to you?
Mm,
All right. I mean, Torah says, do not steal. Okay. I mean, is there anything here which is materialistic enough so that it can be stolen? I mean, how is it relevant to you? Torah speaks about circumcision. Can you circumcise? It's about keeping Shabbat. Can you keep Shabbat?
mhm,
Okay, Torah is not designed for the kind of being that you are. It is designed for us, only for us.
mhm,
We are the ones who have the right, the natural right to get a hold of it, to hold it, to possess it, to own it, to
mhm.
keep it, to live by it. It's irrelevant for you. And the parable says, at that moment, they let him take it. Now, of course, it's a parable. Maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. Maybe Moses told about it when, he told about it to Joshua and to everybody when he went down, and it got passed down by oral tradition. Could be. I'm not saying no. But either way, I think it portrays a picture about our existence as human beings, and out of all human beings, about the Jewish people and about the word of God that is given in the world, and the Jewish people is carrying it for the rest of the world. I think it opens a window to just start looking at it and really thinking about it. What does God want from us? I mean, looking at the facts according to which, He created us. So what is my role now? And I
Right.
think it all comes from here. It all starts at the beginning in creation.
Amazing. And so he's certainly created so many creatures on that. It seems like the big day when he decided to have fun.
He was most creative on that
It's
day.
because there are some animals we look at and we go, whoa.
But yeah, only mankind. I mean, out of all these creatures, I mean, only mankind was created in His image,
Yes.
and it's just that maybe if we have a few minutes, I mean, we can just share. There is a research that was done by an Argentinian Jewish fellow who made Aliyah. He lives in Israel now. He didn't grow up, observant or anything like that. But as in the course of his life, he came closer and closer to God, and he is observant now. He lives in faith, and he gives a fascinating lecture, which is also accessible online, about the research that he did about chromosomes. Okay, that are part of our DNA. And he said that he could find this repetition, okay, numerical or mathematical repetition in the system by which our chromosomes are laid out, let's say. And he found a sequence of some kind of a bridge, okay, like a bridge between the two lines of chromosomes that you may find every certain number of chromosomes, every 10 chromosomes, and then every 5, every 6, and every 5.
Mhm.
Okay, like there is a bridge. You know those two how do you call it? Like two strips, right, of chromosomes, and then they there is a bridge between them every 10 chromosomes, 6, sorry, 10, 5, 6, 5.
Right.
He said that's the repetition that he found with I mean with various types of DNA uh, and he tells about that research and then he said, well, it's not for no it's not a surprise. I mean, if you know if you know if you look at the name of God, okay, the name of God, the four-letter name, okay, in Hebrew we never say the name. It's the equivalence of the English version Jehovah. Jehovah, I have no problem saying it's not the name, but in Hebrew I would never say the name. We don't even know how to pronounce it because we've never said it. But in any case, there is a name with four letters. And in Judaism, we give a numerical value to each letter in the Hebrew alphabet. So the first letter is one, second letter is two, third letter is three, etc., etc. The four letters, not for no reason, maybe that's not going to be a surprise, but the four letters carry exactly that sequence of numbers: 10, 5, 6, 5. 10, 5, 6, 5, exactly exactly the same results that he was able to find. And those bridges between those chromosomes, they are in charge of our immunity system.
Mhm.
Which basically means that our health, our
Oh,
existence, our ability
yeah.
to
Wow.
live,
Mm.
our breath, it depends on his name. It's like the autograph of a of an artist in a painting that he created,
Mm.
10, 5, 6, 5. And yeah, he tells about it. I mean, he explains it down to the detail. Right? Some of the things that I cannot explain, definitely not
Yeah.
here on a short time. But
Right.
it's fascinating just to think about it, how his name is engraved in each and every one of us.
Wow. And what's amazing is that it's only just been revealed that that's the
Oh
case.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Since
Yes, yeah.
since when we've been able to assess DNA and all of
Of
that.
course, the closer we come, the closer we get to Mashiach, the closer we get to Mashiach revealing himself and salvation coming to the world and all of that, the closer we come, the more wisdom there is, the
Yes.
more ability to see there is, but also the more difficult the challenges are. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so and the more we are being put to the test.
Wow.
But that's something for a different video.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Gil. And
Thank you.
so we just have one more day to do, and we'll do that next time. We'll do seventh
Shabbat.
day Shabbat.
Thank you.